Choosing this lens over something more practical like a 35mm is like the main character of a rom-com choosing the romantic and rugged dreamer over the stable and predictable accountant, who's a sensible choice but doesn't set her heart alight.
It's you.
It's me.
We're all cheering for the rugged dreamer, even though the accountant seems like a nice guy. We're choosing art and nuance over versatility and function. We've also put together a beginner's wedding photography gear list, which we'll tell you more about soon.
Now, if you've seen our video on why we can't live without the 35mm lens, you know that we still love that focal length. However, as wedding photographers and hopeless romantics, there's just something special about the 55mm that just pulls you in. We have the Sony Zeiss 55mm lens, and the creamy depth of field with slightly more compression feels cinematic and intimate. Two things we're chasing when we're photographing weddings in our personal style.
Capturing portraits on this lens is such a dream. It's close without needing to be too close to our couples and interrupt the moment. But it's not such a long lens that we have to be really far away to get a full length or wide shot. In fact, this lens is just magic when shooting a full-length landscape shot. To us, it feels like a still from a movie and really romanticizes the scene. We also enjoy the way this lens flares and love to use it to add some extra haze and dreaminess to the photo. The 55mm really shines in the portrait time, but having some extra reach is also super helpful in the ceremony and reception. And it's also really lovely when capturing details.
Still, perhaps not as versatile and run and gun as a 35mm lens. However, we're choosing the 55 for different reasons. And the reality of shooting on prime lenses is that you're most likely going to want multiple lenses. Our kit includes, and this is for the two of us, a 24mm lens, two 35s, a 55 and an 85mm lens. We have a couple of extras like a tilt shift and a vintage 58mm, but these aren't pulled out at every wedding and tend to be for more special use cases. If we had to choose just one lens, it would probably still be the 35mm. But because there's two of us, one of us can have the 35mm and the other has the 55mm. We really love this combo, and it's the most common setup for us when we're shooting weddings.
So why 55 and not a 50mm? Great question. And it's not that the extra 5mm makes a huge difference. It's more to do with this particular lens. There's probably science and special glass behind it, but like any great love story, it's hard to explain other than it just feels right. There's something special about this lens.
There is a character to this lens which you can see in the bokeh. It has this light swirly bokeh, which helps lead your eye to the subject in the frame. It feels like a blend between a vintage lens and a sharp modern lens. Sure, you could get a 50mm 1.4 or 1.2 version, and those lenses would help in darker scenarios, but those are considerably more expensive. The Sony 55mm 1.8 version retails for under $1,000 Australian dollars, whereas the 50mm 1.4 version retails for about $2,000 Australian dollars, and the 1.2 version, that retails for around $3,000 Australian dollars. These newer lenses would have slightly faster autofocus, but for the way we shoot, the 55mm lens is fast enough for us.
So would we recommend this lens to others? Absolutely. This lens is a must for us. We would feel incomplete without it. But it's also because we know this lens so well. We have constantly gravitated to it and worked with it over and over again. We know in essence the image it will capture before we pull the camera up to our face. It comes down to a level of comfort and familiarity, a mutual understanding between us and our lens, working together to create the work we love. And when you look at it like this, you could apply this logic to any lens, the lens you reach for most often and create your favorite work with. So what is that lens for you? The lens you can't live without? Tell us in the comments. If you are new to wedding photography and not sure what other gear you may need, we've put together a beginner's wedding photography gear list guide, which you can download for free via the link in the description.
If you missed our 35mm lens video, you can check that video out next. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next one.